Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 336 of a year of change. As you can hear, I'm doing much, much better. This week, what a week. Oh my god, what a week. This has been a horrible week all the way around. I'm not hacking and coughing anymore, so at least that's going to be a little bit better, so you won't have to deal with that. This week, seemed like it had everything thrown at me. There was the candy buffet thing that was going on at work. I was sick, so I couldn't really, just exhausted all the time, so I couldn't really do as much as I wanted on my treadmill. Being that tired, you're just lazy and you don't want to do anything anyway. It's right to the point where just for a lot of it, I just was like, I don't even care. I don't even want to make meals. I don't want to do anything. And a few times it got to a point where it was just, I don't want to do anything. I want to just get something very quick, very easy, take it home, like takeout or a pizza or something, so I don't have to worry about when I go home. And it just started getting worse and worse and worse. And although I sort of brought up the candy thing earlier on in the week, when it comes to the grocery part of it, that got pretty much right up to the edge. I had spent pretty much the entire week moping and feeling sorry for myself and everything else. And just finally, near the end of it, I was just, I've had enough. I'm too tired. I don't want to take the half hour or 45 minutes or whatever it's going to take to cook a proper meal. And I've been doing well all week. I just want to go and get something very simple. I know it's going to be bad for me. I know I shouldn't be doing it, but I want to go do it. So, of course, on the way home from work yesterday, in the grocery store anyway, going around getting all the stuff, head down to the pizza aisle. And they're all on sale for like $4 each or something. Got right to the door and decided not to do it. It's kind of like when you make up your mind, you think, you know what, I'm going to buy myself something. I'm going to buy like a new toy or, a gadget or, something, a game, whatever it is that you normally would say, I just would never ever spend that much money on myself. And you think, I really want to do it. And you think about it, and you make up your mind, you think, I can't really afford it, but I really want this, and I've done really well. I deserve it, and it's sort of a one-time thing. I don't treat myself very often. And then you go to the store and you figure out which one you want. You've done all the research online that you need to do and decide instead of just ordering it online. But you go in, you say, okay, this is the one that I want, and you get there and you're holding it in your hand and you go, it's not responsible for me to buy this at this moment, and you put it back. And that's really what it felt like, was, just to the point when you're standing there staring at all the different pizzas and you go, I shouldn't really be doing this. So, in the end, I didn't buy it, didn't deviate. Came very close to going over, because I did buy bread and had like 3 pieces of toast when I got home. But in general, just like throughout the week, I've stuck to it pretty well. I haven't, I've tried to stay under, my regular calorie count, which has been good. And I've been a little more wary of it because I haven't been able to really do as much as I wanted to do on the treadmill this week. I've still done it every day. I've just done a walk. I've tried, as you know, jogging a couple of times. Did not work out. But really this week, I don't want to say if it was going to happen, it would have happened this week. But it was really tough this week to not, by the end of it, just throw the towel and say, you know what, fuck it. I'm buying, junk food and just dealing with that. I'm glad I didn't. Really, in the long run, because part of me, this is going to sound weird, because part of me is thinking, you know what, it was really, really tough and I had to sort of struggle through stuff, but I've had those before, and I've always just sort of, it gets to a point, and we all have gotten to this point where we're just like, you know what, I can't take it anymore, I got to do something, and we give in and we buy whatever it is that we're going to buy, and we end up eating it, and, so I don't want to say, well, I'm done with that. I'm never going to have to worry about that again because I made it through this week. I made it through this week. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily behind me. So I don't want to say, oh, well, those days of me not having the willpower behind me. Because it just means that this week I did well. I got through it. I still have the cravings, whether they're stronger or whether they're weaker than they used to be, or whether, I'm just getting better at dealing with them. I don't know. I don't know which way that goes, but I'm sure at some point in the future, then I am going to end up buying a pizza. I'm going to, because it's different when you stop and you think and you just sit there all day and fantasize about eating buckets and buckets of cheese with double or triple pepperoni and all the other good stuff, and you go, oh, I'm going to eat it, and I'm going to feel kind of blah afterwards, but in general, I'm going to feel good. And then when you finally get there, and you just like, I don't want to do that, because I mean we've worked so hard to get where we are, and especially now where we're sort of ending this week and we're going into our final month. I know we're sort of technically in our final month, depending on when you've done this, but we have 4 weeks left starting tomorrow. That's our last month of this. And I don't want to sort of have that feeling of finality to it, because it's not really like, okay, well, we have 1 month and then we have to reach our goals. We aren't going to, I'm not going to reach my goal. My original goal was to lose 150 pounds. That's certainly not going to happen. But I've sort of adapted that, and I wanted to get down to a point where I thought, you know what, 100 pounds by the end of this year, it's doable. I don't think I'm going to do that now, because it's been a very slow progression over the past few weeks, and I don't want to just sort of, starve or, just do something really extreme during the last month just to get to that goal, which we've talked about before, so I won't rehash all that stuff. But we are going to reach our goal at the end of this year and then say, oh, well, obviously didn't reach my goal, so now I can go back to eating the way that I was. It's really, by the end of this year, and really by the end of this month coming up, we're going to be at a stage where we know what we need to do to continue on by ourselves. That if something, like, it would still be nice, obviously, you're still going to be able to reach out to people and, have that support, whether it's on MyFitnessPal or whether it's, obviously still need to give updates when I'm on this. I'm not just going to sort of drop off the face of the earth and then just come back 2 months later and go, hey, I gained all my weight back. I need to at least have, regular updates. Say, here's how things are going. I'm still on target. I'm still doing it. But I don't want there to be this feeling of, I have to reach this goal by the end of the year, otherwise I fail. I'm going to be very close to that 100-pound goal, I think. Probably within 5, maybe 10 pounds worth. But I don't think I'm going to reach it. But I know that eventually I will. And then I will eventually lose, 125. And then 150. Then I'll be able to start sort of building from there. But anyway, those cravings are still going to happen. I quit smoking like 10 years ago. And every now and then, as weird as it sounds, I still get a weird, I would like a cigarette. And it's kind of odd, because I know that if I ever did, it would probably just be disgusting. I don't like the smell when other people are smoking near me. Actually, the aftermath of someone smoking. When they're smoking right beside me, it doesn't really bother me, oddly enough. It's just afterwards, and you're like, it kind of smells funny. But I think it's going to be the same thing. We're always going to have these cravings. We're always going to have those moments when we go, oh, God, yes, I want like a bucket of ice cream, or, cookie dough, or chips, or whatever it is that you crave. We're always going to have those. I think that we are better at dealing with them now than we were a year ago, but it's taken us a year to get to a point where we can actually sort of step back and go, all right, I really, really need to exercise some willpower here, because before none of us had any. But it's not to say that, well, then I have the willpower now, I'll be able to resist it all the time. Not going to. At some point in the future, I know it's going to happen. I'm going to eventually say, you know what, it's been a few months, I'm going to get a pizza. And then I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat too much of it, probably. I'm going to then hate myself, because that's how we eat. We go out, we buy as much as we want, we eat everything, and then when you're finally filled, not with food, but with self-loathing and everything else, that's when you go, okay, it's time to stop eating, because I'm going to barf, and now I'm disgusted with myself. That's how we eat. Those are our eating habits. But I know that at some point that's probably going to happen. I'm going to end up getting something that I shouldn't, if it's pizza or nachos or ribs or something, and which is fine for me to have, once in a while. But chances are at some point when I do that, I'm going to have too much. And then I'm going to feel like shit, and I'm going to just hate everything about myself. But, I don't want to get to a point, really, I don't know if we're ever going to get to a point where we can say, oh, I don't even crave that anymore. It's like, I don't think that's ever going to happen. For people that have always been, very fit or athletic or active, and have just right from a young age gone for the health food thing and never really got into like the cookies and candies and all the stuff that we always did, I think it might be a bit easier for them. They might say, oh, I have a craving once in a while, but there are some that will say, no, I never ever crave candy or chips or any of that shit. I don't think we'll ever get to that point, because for a lot of us, it's been decades of us eating this way. We've tried our best to break the habit, but it's still there, and it's very, very strong. But I think that we're much, much better at holding it off. holding it at bay, holding off thing. How am I going to put? Yeah, holding. Oh, whatever. You know what I mean. We're much, much better at exercising that will, that self-control, to be able to say, you know what? No, I don't want to do it. And part of it is because I don't want to feel shitty, because I know that's what's going to end up happening, because I just simply can't stop. But another part is that, I don't want to. I don't. Especially when you're in the middle of making progress like this and you're continuing on, you don't want to say, you know what, I'm just going to do this and it's going to ruin the work I've done for the past 4 or 5 days, or a week. Or if we're losing slower, like a week and a half. It's been a very slow progression for me over the past week or two anyway. So I figure if I had something, if I was to eat like I normally ate, or even just indulged in whatever, it would feel like I'm just like, I'm slow enough as it is, and now I probably undid like 2 days worth of work just from that. So, I mean, obviously, if you're eating a great big meal, you're not going to put all that weight on as fat. Your body's going to try to get rid of it very quickly because we simply aren't used to it anymore. But in general, that's how you feel. You're like, I feel like I've undone some of the work that I've worked so hard for. So I want to keep that going. And I mean, I know it's going to continue on after the year is over. And actually, I could say after this month is over. This is so weird because starting tomorrow, we're in our final month of doing stuff. We have our food education under our belt. We have, much better understanding of the exercise that we're doing. So now we're going to start sort of really fine-tuning everything, getting all the nitty-gritty things done and everything else, and, sort of taking the training wheels off for this last month, I guess. Because after this, none of us really know what we're going to do. We've just sort of gotten used to talking back, well, hopefully anyway, talking back and forth, and just having this every single day. It's going to be weird not having that. But, I mean, it's going to be different, but we know what we need to do to continue on. And if we get to a point where we figure, you know what, I'm just like, if I ever get to a stage where I'm thinking I'm not doing what I need to do, I've been on a plateau for 2 or 3 weeks, or worse yet, I've started to gain again, then obviously I need to come back. I need to talk to someone and say, okay, you know what, I'm having an issue. This is what I need to do this, just to get that nice little, morale boost once again. But I think that we're in a better place now than we were. We can control these urges a lot better. Not necessarily the urge itself, but it's a little bit easier for us to say no to it. Because we can look back and see how much that we've accomplished, and we're like, no, yes, it would be awesome. I would love to be able to eat an entire tub of cookie dough and mix it with icing, and we call them shame sticks when you just form them into a thing and then you just eat them. That would be great, but I don't want to undo the stuff that I've done so far. So if we can get through that, and that's what this week really was for me, was just get through all the, I'm sick, I feel sorry for myself, I'm all mopey, I'm tired, I'm lazy, and there was free candy in a buffet style. So if it was going to happen, it would have happened this week. Thankfully I'm not a huge candy person, so I'm thinking, if it was like, oh, well, there's free chips, if they had sour jujubes, probably would have broken. At some point, I think I probably would have at that stage. Although I was very lazy because it was way down the hall, and I'll be fucked if I'm going to walk that far when I'm sick. So, I mean, getting better now, it's not an excuse for me to say, oh, well, now I can, do whatever I want because I'll be able to exercise again. I want to keep going the way that I've been going. I want to stay on track with my food and our tracking and everything else that I'm doing. And I want to be able to start adding in that exercise again, get back to what I was doing before and get back on track and be able to continue on with this. But this week has been tough, and it's been nice though, as odd as that sounds, as hard as it was for this week all the way around. The fact that I was able just to sort of get through it and say, you know what, no, I still stuck with my tracking, I stuck with my treadmill, I didn't go overboard on any foods, I still ate, healthy foods and fruits and vegetables and all the other stuff, and still went to work. But, I wasn't debilitatingly sick or anything, but it was enough that I was like, I feel sorry for myself. So the fact that I know I can get through that hard part there, then chances are I know I can get through some other stuff as well. And it may not work every single time. We're always going to have moments when we trip. But, as long as we can just look at it and say, okay, you know what? Yeah, that was a rough day. Good enough. Again, picking up where we left off, the day before that. Then we'll continue on and we should be fine. But I think it's going to be a little bit easier for us to do. There we go. Just going to end that sentence halfway through. That was stupid. I think it's going to be a little bit easier for us to do that. Because just from force of habit now, we've sort of replaced a lot of our bad habits with these, I would say newer, but also, better habits, I suppose. where we just aren't mindlessly grabbing food and snacks all the time. So anyway, yeah, that was it. Just sort of wanted to go, yay me for this week. It was tough, but it was, kind of glad that I went through that. It sounds like I've gone through 8 deaths in the family. I'm trying not to make this sound melodramatic, and it keeps coming out that way, which is really weird. It's not. It's just that this week was very tempting. The best way to put this, this week would have been the perfect week for me to use every excuse in the book. Saying, oh, I'm too tired, so obviously I can't exercise at all, I'm exhausted. Or, oh, I can't take the time to do this, I need to rest, so I'm just going to put something in the oven and let it cook real quick, so I'm going to buy some cheap stuff. Or, oh, well, I don't want to be able, I can't do this or I can't do that. It would have been the perfect week for me to just pull out all the old excuses that we're so used to using and just put them into effect. And I would have been able to justify it to myself. We always are, but at some stage, somewhere along the line, would have been able to say, oh, well, it's only a couple of days, it won't kill me, and when I'm better, then I'll make up for it by exercising. I'll do it tomorrow, all that stuff. All the old lies that we always told ourselves. It would have been very easy for me to break all those out, and I think that if I was going to do it, I would have done it this week. Not to say that I won't do it at some point in the future when if I get really, really sick, the kind of sick where just everything hurts and you don't want anything to touch you, your hair hurts and just shut up, hair everywhere. There's a nice image. Sorry, that turned into something really weird. Anyway, you know what I mean. When everything aches and you don't want anyone touching you and there's too much air that's just touching your skin and it hurts and everything. When I get that sick, then chances are, yeah, that's when I'm going to go, you know what? No, I am not spending half an hour cooking a meal. So I'll use the excuse then, maybe. But maybe at that point, I'll be at a stage where I'm like, I don't want to do it again because then I'm going to feel bad. And I still have to report to people. So I still have to report to you. Even when this month is over, I still have to make regular check-ins. And if I start checking in and going, yeah, this week I ate 4 pizzas and 16 burritos and a cake and a buffalo and one of my cats, then it's going to be bad. So, and people will call me on it. Anyway, obviously this week, doing much better. I'm hoping to sort of start off tomorrow on a high note. Go into our final month, I don't want to say just be thinking positive, but I want to go into our final month strong, and I want to end it strong. And so that when we finally do sort of let everything go, when we finish off this month, that we're on the right path and that we can continue going and that we'll be able to just sort of work out things on our own and continue to lose weight and continue to feel better and be healthier and start introducing newer things on our own and just sort of continue right where we left off. I think that it's been a good year, and it's weird. 28 days left, or 30, well, 29, including today. I can't do math unless it's a leap year. We have 4 weeks. There we go. We have 4 weeks left, and that's it. And then we are done. But for right now, I'm going to leave this video here. We'll talk about all this stuff tomorrow. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. In the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.